Hello everybody, this is Juarez, providing you with another Brewmaster update for all my tank-loving friends, and those of you who are interested in becoming a Brewmaster tank, and keeping you up to date on all the changes and where the class is headed, specifically that spec of that class. As I know some people, at least me, are really excited for Brewmasters, and this will be my new main. I probably won't be a Panda though, but definitely a Monk. So let's go over those changes. Now, first things first is Shuffle as an ability is gone. You'll notice it's not on my bars. It was the most asinine ability possible in the fact that you couldn't do nothing for 6 seconds and it would stagger the next 3 abilities. But it's the fact that you couldn't do anything and it would channeled. So if you moved, it was the worst spell ever. So we've gone a different route. Blackout Kick has been reworked. Now you notice the cost on Blackout Kick has been moved up. It's now 2 chi again. But this is the main bit, and it doesn't show it here. You have to go over to Brewmaster training to actually see what it does now. But if you read this, it says after you Blackout Kick, you gain Shuffle, causing the next 3 attacks to become staggered. So, that's our new way of consistently keeping stagger up. It's woven into our damage abilities. Which, I know I didn't say this in my videos, but this is something I truly believe is where they're going with this. A Monk is essentially going to be a half-breed between a Paladin and a DK. In terms of how it works. This resource system is a lot like a Paladin's, and its defensive makeup is a lot like a DK's, in that you have a lot of constant reduction. You know, DKs have Death Strike, you have Shuffle, that is now linked to Blackout Kick. You know, they have their short 30-second cooldown. You have Guard. You also have your Purifying Brew to get rid of one immediately. You could kind of consider that the same as how Death Strike also heals while putting up a shield. Things of that nature. So, it's really right between the two, is where it seems like they're really shooting for. Where it's somewhat more, it's definitely more active than Paladins, but it's not to the extent of DKs. So just something to keep in mind. So that's the biggest change, and it's really good just because, once again, back to the Paladin reference, is that their Shield of Righteousness is linked to their block. So now our Blackout Kick is linked to what is essentially our block. So moving on, also, just another little thing, more new icons. I get excited about these, I don't know why, because they look really cool. But Breath of Fire's got a new one, and the Ox statues got a new one. I guess they're really keen on making sure these statues are part of being a monk. I'm not really fond of them, but let's see where they go. Now another thing, while I'm on the Ox statue, is now it is instant cast. Boom, Ox statue is up. So there's no casting, you can plop it down anywhere. That's a relief, if you ask me. And we'll just click that for a little guard there. The next change. Breath of Fire and Dizzying Haze has been reworked. Not in the sense of what it does is entirely different, but it's a bit more smooth. Dizzying Haze is now 1 stack. There's no 3 stacks. It also, as before, still does a high amount of threat. But the main thing here is, because it doesn't stack, it does a far amount less chance to misfire. Notice it's just 3%, where if you had 3 stacks it was 9. And also the energy cost went up just a teensy bit. It's now 20 energy. But you only got to throw it once, so not that big a deal. But it's definitely a change for the better, because it will become obnoxious if you had to constantly keep that 3 stacks up during the whole fight. The next is Breath of Fire. Now, Breath of Fire is changed again, in that instead of it dealing a larger amount when they have Dizzying Haze, it's now that it puts a dot on everything when you Breath of Fire and it has Dizzying Haze. So you could Breath of Fire and just do a straight, you know, X amount of damage, but now you can do that X amount of damage. They have Dizzying Haze, so now they got a dot, so they stick to you. I mean, it's Consecrate, Death and Decay-esque now. Like, you know, like most of the tank abilities, they all have something for AoE aggro that puts a dot on them. Warriors have bleeds and etc. So, you know, another thing to keep in mind. Another change. Expel Harm now generates a chi. This is wonderful. It essentially allows you to use it whenever, because it's on a 15-second cooldown. You could weave it in and just keep expelling harm, or you could save it as a last-minute, you know, oh crap, I need a chi real quick to purify, or elusive brew, or purifying brew to get the stagger damage off, or what have you. So, definitely a good change. Another is Fortifying Brew. Now is just a basic cooldown. There's no crazy healing mechanic behind it. It's just you double your health and you take 20% less damage. Good stuff. Another change while we're here is Advert Harm. Advert Harm still does the same thing, except it causes 50% of the damage to be reduced rather than the 20 that it was originally. Now, there's also a few more things that you'll notice, is that Keg Smash applies Dizzying Haze now. So, what that means is that when you're on a single target fight, Dizzying Haze does not need to be constantly getting thrown on. You simply just get to Keg Smash, and it also now has the Weaken Blows effect, which is, you know, the demoralize, reduce physical damage by 10%. So, another good change. As you can see, we are slowly becoming a normal class in that everything's coming together. And I believe that's it. There are a few bugs that are still rolling around. Oh yeah, one more thing. My apologies. We have Guard. The difference here is that... Let me get some shit. The difference with Guard is that it's a 30-second cooldown and it lasts 30 seconds. So you can put it on before something and it'll sit on there until something big enough happens that would actually get rid of it. But back to what I was originally saying, those are most of the changes, beyond from a few new icons. And Keg Smash is bugged at the moment where it has like 0 range. You have to be inside of creatures to actually hit them with it. But I'm assuming that will be fixed. There's no way that is expected. Beyond from that, that seems to be the most changes. Nothing too big, too crazy, no new abilities or anything of that nature, but really it's now fleshing out what Brewmasters are to become. So things are looking good. And I hope you enjoyed this video and look forward to more Brewmaster updates. So, see you later.